It's always good when I see that we are going live. Remember that one time that we tried to go live and we weren't live? That was
Yeah,
awful.
yeah.
The bad old days. Okay, we are live now. Well, welcome everybody. Glad that you can make it tonight on ClearPropTV.com, also known as PPG Grandpa's Paramotor Podcast. And if you just want to listen to it, you can go to paratalk.org. Tonight's going to be a really awesome podcast. This is season 3, episode 115. We got a couple of people on the panel. Let's introduce those people real quick before we get to. Do we call you James?
James, yes.
James Sutherland.
A bunch of people call me a bunch of different things, but my friends call me James. Yes.
James, that will work. All right, we'll start out with Will Fly, PPG. Will Fly, welcome to the show. Thank you very much for being on the panel. You've been doing some flying lately, bud? Is that what you said on the pre-show?
Yeah, I've been doing some flying. Went down to Florida, visited Aviator, and got a couple of flights in. And we were just talking about it for the pre-show. I try to fly every good weather day there is.
I think that's what everybody needs to do. If people want to watch you and your flying shenanigans, how do we get to your YouTube and all that fun stuff?
You can find me on YouTube under Will Fly, or just visit willflyppg.com. New video coming out this week.
Ooh, that's awesome. Do we get a sneak preview?
Nope.
Damn. All right. Well, thanks, Will, for being on the panel this evening. We also got Flying Flamingo Jade. What's up? How you doing tonight? Always good to see you. And you changed your video. You're still on mute. There you go.
Hi, everyone. Eric and I are visiting Tony and Angela that are normally in the chat. And Angela's here. We're trying to set up an iPad for her so she can actually be on some of the shows and be in the background or in the after shows, because they are trying to do stuff on their phones at night and we're trying to help them. So tomorrow night, Eric's got a good show because yesterday I got to fly in Nevada along with Eric and along with Tony. Tony took his first major flight all by himself. He did some training though with an instructor out here, and we got him up in the sky and with a trike buggy that we had our instructor send out to him that him and his brother purchased. So we got some video clips on it. I was trying to go live yesterday on Facebook, and let's see. And then Wednesday, it's like 60-mile-an-hour wind. Wednesday, we have paramotorgirl.com and Girls Just Want to Fly, and we've got another skydiver this week, Elizabeth Ann, and I'm still working on that part of the show right now. So, yeah.
Sounds like it'll be awesome. So make sure you guys go over to ppglear.com and PPG. What is yours? Paramotorgirl.com. Yeah. All right. Good deal. And thank you very much for being on the show or being on the panel tonight, Jade. We also got Paramount USA, our very own Linda Anderson. What's up? How you doing tonight?
Yep. Going tonight. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, Flying Flamingo. I love you bunches. I'm glad you're having a good time in your vacay. You deserve it, girl. You deserve it. But thank you so much. I love Monday nights. Thanks, James, for being here tonight on Monday. This is our time to shine, all of us, Mondays, right? Thank you, chatters, everybody. And you can also find me on Thursday night with my son on paraglidingtalk.com with your host, Robert Michael. So y'all got to tune in on Thursdays. You know where to be. We always have lots of shenanigans and lots of cool guests and everything. So thank you so much. Enjoy the show. It's all yours.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Linda, for being on the panel. We definitely appreciate you. If you want to be on the show, make sure you get up with Linda Anderson. Just go over to ParamountUSA.com and forward over to her Facebook page and say, hey, I want to be on the show. And she will hook you up. But it's not about me. It's not about Linda. This is about James. James Sutherland. He's our guest tonight. He's been flying for about 7 years. He's flying Trikes and he has a lot of adventures to talk about, including some interesting motor routes. So welcome, James. Glad that you're on the show. You are on mute, so make sure you unmute yourself if you want to chat with us. I know, that mute thing is just crazy. How you doing?
Doing well. How are you?
Doing pretty good, man. So for all the people that don't know you, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, the Charlie Soap, all the stuff that you've been doing for the last 7 years?
My name is James Sutherland. I, with my brothers, run a company called Sutherland Products that makes Charlie Soap. And Charlie Soap is a #1 or anywhere between #1 and #5 on Amazon at any given time. And I fly paramotors in my off time. And now here recently, that's like what I do all the time. Kind of like you guys, fly all the time. Anytime, any chance it's decent, I'm out there. What else do you want to know? I like to make videos. I'm not saying that I'm any good at it. And I like to have adventures on paramotors. So kind of push it a little bit sometimes, and I push my equipment and I don't take care of it very well, and it craps out a lot of times. And so I have a lot of engine outs.
I can't wait to be talking more about those engine outs, but very glad that you are here tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. We got a lot of people in the chat tonight, so just want to say hi to you guys out there. Bill H, welcome. Glad you're here. Fine Flamingo, Will Fly, Eric PPG, Lear is there, Tony Marzano, Brian Waller. Welcome, Brian. Glad you made it tonight. Nick Griffith. And man, a lot of people are chatting. George, I'm not sure how to say your last name. I'm sorry about that, but welcome everybody. Glad that you're here. Mad Sloper just jumped in also. Tonight's going to be great. James, now one of the things that you talked about in your when we were talking, and I want to make sure I don't have something going on in the background right now. Good, I do not. We were talking about, you had a couple of engine outs. You had like 16 engine outs, the first 100 flights that you have taken, and then now you're up to about 25 or 26 engine outs. Tell us about the engine outs. It's like, what happened? I mean, is it engine outs because you ran out of gas? Was it mechanical failure? What happened, bud?
Different things. I had one time my starter blew off the case of the motor. I have no idea how that happened, but the starter came in contact with the flywheel, I think, and just cracked off of the motor, went through the prop went through the wing, and thank God didn't hurt me. And I came down on the street. There was another time that I dislocated my shoulder because I accidentally shut the motor off. And when I went to start the motor, I dislocated my shoulder, and I was so mad about it that I winced and put it back into place. And the doctor said I should have passed out, but I guess I'm too stupid to pass out. But anyways, that was another engine out. I don't know how many times my engine is turned off, or I've been in pulling some G's and my maintenance on my motor is not right, and it feels like I sucked the gas right into the gas tank and just right out of the carburetor, and it just shuts off. Anyways.
Wow, sounds really interesting. I think I've had a couple motor outs myself. Had one where I ran out of gas. One that the fuel line came off, and then of course the My 19 exhaust broke and went through the prop. So I had a couple myself. Thank goodness no mechanical failures. You are the type of person that looks around a lot to make sure that there's outs, aren't you? I mean, that just seems to be your MO now, right? So now that you're looking for all these outs, you're like, whoa, why don't I just land there? So tell us about some of these kamikaze landings that you're doing just to land in places that are just crazy now.
It's become a way of life. Well, I mean, we're all supposed to be watching, my engine's about to die. Where should I land? That's kind of like something we should be singing at all times, I think, in our heads. If we're usually going up on a day when we're not going to get a second chance. We're not going to get any thermals to take us back up or set us in a place where we want it to be. It's usually going to be down right now. So like we should constantly be running that game in our head. What you're talking about.
Yep.
So, but I love to find places that sometimes that I know I'm not going to be able to get out of, and I can call somebody to come pick me up. And it's just a badge to say I've landed there. And then there's other places that it's nice. It's cool to say that I took off there when nobody in their right mind should take off there or has.
Well, what kind of places are we talking about? I mean, so tell us. So, what are some of the cool places that you landed out to see if you could land there, and some of the places that you landed or were trying to just take off from? And
okay, so I'm not sure if I'm trespassing. I'm not sure about it. But there's a place right next to a river, probably 2.5 miles, 3 miles from my LZ. And there's a nice field and a nice place where you can get into the river. And I know one of these days I'm going to fly there, go swimming, and then fly away. And so several times last year, I flew there, landed, and immediately laid the wing out and took my happy ass out of there. Excuse my language. There's some other places that just are just picturesque fields out in the middle of nowhere where if you scrub that launch or scrub that landing, it's not going to be a pretty thing because you're so far away from anything. But sometimes it's worth like just being on foot in a place that you would never be able to be on foot. Kind of is, a thing for me. It's kind of like I was saying, like it feels like you're Superman.
Absolutely. I love to be Superman. Hey,
Right.
Is there any questions in the chat? If you guys are out there in Super Chat land and you have any questions for James, just go ahead and put them down there. Will Fly, is there any questions that we need to ask James?
Yeah, there's one question, but before I do, I want to say, man, James flies more than anybody that I know. And when I first started flying, I would ask every chance I get, hey, did you fly today? Did you fly today? Did you fly today? And of course, the answer was always yes. So I stopped asking him that because I knew if anyone's going to fly that day, it's going to be James. And hey, you remember, James, that time when we were talking about, for me, I was kind of new at the time, and it was that field, and you had mowed like I had a sidewalk strip down it. You know what I'm talking about?
I still have it. I still mow that X. Well, it used to be just one little, I'd say, car width that they would let me mow. And so my launches, I could mow like a little square and this one little strip. And so you had to hit your launches, otherwise you're going to end up with like 4 or 5 foot wheat.
Tall grass. Yeah.
It's ridiculous. And so I learned to stick those directions during launch. And sometimes it's not the most pretty thing in the world, as several of my friends will tell you. But I don't hurt myself a lot, knock on wood. Sorry. I constantly work on my taxiing, constantly work on my takeoffs and landings. But anyways.
I can attest to that, because when you fly, you normally get a lot of touch and goes in and a lot of practice in. It's not just about the flying. So
yeah, there's something about landing and taking off that's just like Superman. I think that I just loved Superman when I was little, and I was always scared of flying up until I was 37 years old. And ridiculously scared of it. I would have to get drunk to get on a commercial flight. I'd have to go to a meeting a day early because I knew I had to sober up to go to the meeting, and I was going to have to get drunk on the plane on the way there. And I'm not even a drinker. That's the thing. I just had to get inebriated and just get on this frightful, like experience and just deal with that before I went up into every meeting. And it was horrible for me. I mean, I've been flying for, my business since I was 24, 23 or 22 or something like that. And it was horrible until I learned how to fly. And now that I fly, I can't stop looking out the window the whole time when we're flying, when you go on a jet. I don't know if anybody else is like that, but I don't know if anybody else got into this sport like that. How many of y'all got into this sport to get over a fear? Any of y'all? My man. Excellent.
Nick Griffith asked, what's your go-to wing, and have you ever flown a Luna 2?
I haven't flown a Luna 2. I have two that I fly, a Hadron XX and a 24 meter and a 29 meter Vision U-turn, which is a very, very slow wing. And then I've got the Charlie Soap wing, which is a gimmick wing. I mean, it's a Mac Para Charger on one of the old versions. So it's kind of like a dog. It's not really efficient, and it's old. So I only bring it out every once in a while. And then I've got my tandem wing. But I like my Vision and my Hadron like equally as much. It just depends on the day.
Right on.
It's like asking if you like your 7-iron or your 5-iron more.
Yeah, I got
certain
it.
situations I like, each one of them. I didn't understand that until Leah told me all about that, and said eventually you're going to have more than one wing, and that's, there are certain days that you want to do certain things and certain conditions that you want to do certain, things with, and so.
Yeah, I have more than one wing because I usually will tear one up, send it in to get fixed, and then I need to still fly. So it's amazing.
That's definitely where it started. And the U-turn Vision, I picked that up because I wrecked some stuff. But I like it. I fly the heck out of it. There's something cool about floating. The Hadron is a dart, and it'll get the heck out of here, and it's pretty efficient and all that, and it'll roll like crazy. But the B wing is just you're just floating. And it's something that, like, I got into flying tandems. For tandems, you just want to sit there and just kind of do nothing unless they ask for it, like you're super chill and all of that, and it going that slow just kind of like seeped into my bones. And so that 29 meter will slow down. I mean, it feels like it's just creeping along. And if there's any wind, you're stopped, basically. Anyways.
You just come down and land.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I land a lot.
Like an elevator.
Yeah, it is nice to fly a really slow wing because you can land in a whole lot different, more different places.
Can I ask your weight?
I was at like 227 last year, but now I'm at 202, 203.
Cool.
So you're 202, 203-ish, and you fly what size wing?
A 24 meter Hadron on a trike.
On a trike. Do you foot launch at all, or are you just trike now?
I have only foot launched twice. Foot landed 0 times, I would say. And no, that's incorrect. I went to the SIV class and I landed 6 times that way. And it was like some of the best landings I've ever felt in my life. And so, like, I'm really looking forward to going paragliding for the first time. Hopefully.
What SIV?
Andrew Fuller. He's the bomb. You demand it of him and he will show up. That's for sure. And he does the same for you. He'll demand it of you.
Absolutely.
I don't know who's been there. Has any one of y'all been there?
Yeah, I've been there a couple of times.
Excellent. Yeah, I want to go back really bad.
Yeah, every time you go there, it just seems to be, you just learn that little bit more. You just feel more and more confident about your wing, about your equipment. Every time I get a new wing, I want to go back there so I can learn my new wing. It's amazing that I fly 28 meter. All the different 28 meters fly differently. And when they collapse, they recover differently, which was very surprising. So I think it's always good to go to an SIV class every time that you get a new wing and check it out.
Yeah, the hadron, I'm not trying to do any collapses with the hadron. But you're just not trying to do that. I don't think I'm trying to do that. If I had, taking that one class with Andrew, I've learned that if I had a collapse with the hadron, throw the reserve. Hopefully pull your brakes first and then throw the reserve. But right. It's just, I'm not going to be able to do it. I'm not going to be able to fix it. He might be able to fix it. A couple of people might be able to fix it, but but it's got its place and it's rock solid. I've never had a single deflation. And if I have, it's not been anything that I felt like was going to be a big deal.
Okay. Any questions in the on the panel?
Yeah, you got a couple more questions. Brian Haybale Waller, famous dude, he wants to know if James has ever traveled anywhere without his paramotor. That trike is nicely there's a nice trike in the background of it. Wait, that trike fits nicely in the background of it, Dan. It does. This is like perfect. So where's your favorite place you've flown?
Favorite place. That's a hard question. Every place has got like this perfect little thing about it, I would say. But I don't know. Pilot Mountain was awesome. The Ohio thing, Dave Purden's fly-in, it's killer. I don't know if y'all have been there, but it's got some really cool places to fly. You in there? Yeah, he's excited about it. Yeah, it's a really cool place. I don't know how many of y'all have made it to that one.
I saw JP, screaming and yelling, but he's on mute, so I'm not sure exactly what he said. So
Freaking Purdens is the best flying of the year. If you haven't been there, you need to be there.
Almost quit paramotoring there last year.
What?
No lie.
Why would you say that?
I had a turnover on a tandem, and this girl was like being introduced to the sport, and my dumbass got, excuse my language, got caught up in some mud. I want to say that's the reason. That's probably not the reason. I just didn't abort when I should have aborted, and I flipped that trike. It was bad. I stayed up all night basically thinking, should I get out of this sport because I'm going to end up hurting somebody? And then I just forced myself to start flying the next morning. But anyway, that place is just an awesome place to fly. Having all like the walls of that canyon, when the wind's coming from either direction, you can kind of play with that. And
First off, if you weren't learning something, then you're in a bad place anyways. We should always be learning something. That's a prime opportunity to pick up and learn from something and move on, and then introduce things. And secondly, that place, like every morning you have the fog rolling in off the Ohio River, and it's just like it's
beautiful.
Yeah,
it's really beautiful.
It's just like what, JP? I missed it.
Okay. It's unreal. A few of my friends here, Will was there, Flying Flamingo, Jade was there. It was just every morning it's like the fog rolls in, and it's like it lifts, and then you can fly around these clouds that hang above right over the river. And it's like usually we have these regulations that inhibit us from flying near clouds, but in this case it's okay, and it's just it's breathtaking.
Yeah, that place up in Tennessee that they fly is good.
Yeah, Moonshiners. Very similar. Yeah, you've got the wall of mountains on either side with the canyons, but that introduces like a bowl of turbulence, and the altitude makes for a very difficult.
Just keep pressure.
What's that?
Keep pressure. I mean,
yeah.
Turbulence. I mean,
absolutely.
Are you talking about Dave Curtains, or are you talking about moonshiners?
Moonshiners.
Yeah.
With the bowl between the mountains. It's
moonshiner was
a difficult place to take off.
I'm glad I'm on wheels with moonshiners.
Had you been to moonshiners before, James?
I had not, but I did. I went this past year. It was awesome. I had a great time. That was actually the first fly-in that I'd been to that I didn't bring my Charlie Soap wing, and I wanted everybody to like see it. I just wanted to see if I would get noticed as a flyer instead of like as an advertiser, because I always like, everybody said, "Oh, I know Charlie Soap. I saw the Charlie Soap wing," but like, I wanted to get recognized as somebody that could take off well and was flying well.
No way, man. I still think your name is Charlie. Like,
right. Well, I mean, yeah. I've been wearing a Charlie Soap shirt every day for probably the last 25 years or longer.
That's awesome, dude. No, you're don't worry about that, dude.
But
everybody knows you.
But I did spend a whole lot of time flying and trying to get better at flying. I think it's important. I mean, a lot of people get hurt and it's not good.
No, absolutely. Like I said, if you're not learning, then what's the point? Not that you need to constantly be pushing the limits, but there's always something to be learned. I try to, I'm not saying I always do it, but I try to approach every flight with a mission to learn something new and to see what, we've brought back from every flight and just, apply that to the next flight and then just kind of snowball it. And I feel like that's the only way to do it.
I remember you saying that before, where you're taking each flight and you're trying to learn something from it. Honestly, every flight that I do, my mind goes numb. It's just gone. The debt, taxes, work, craziness, gone. I just fly and everything is gone, and I'm in the most relaxed place in my life. I mean, it's just the most. It's better than drugs.
It feels like you can go to Neverland anytime you damn well please, and we can just get to fly. That's the way it feels for me every time. Like it feels exactly the way I thought it would feel to go to Neverland as a kid.
Even better.
Yeah, right. And because it's real.
It's real.
And Peter Pan, right? Always chasing his shadow.
Right.
You can chase your shadow.
And I mean, like flying along I have a video of that. Like I was looking for these cows this horse that had gotten out. I think that it had ended up gotten stolen. But we were out there looking for it, me and a couple of helicopters and some ultralight guys. And I was flying low in some pretty sketchy places for the first time. I was just thinking like that Caddyshack scene where he's like, God wouldn't strike me down in the best game of my life, and so I just went down through there like I was going to have no trouble. But I remember getting a video of my shadow perfectly on these woods that I would have never been able to get if I didn't kind of make it dangerous a little bit.
I know before the show, in the pre-show, we talked about a couple of things. One of the things that we talked about is how many states that you've flown. And I think there was a question out there from, was it Brian Waller? How many states have you flown? Yes. So I guess since Brian has asked, go ahead and let's talk.
Not that many. Like I was really excited about getting more when I went across country, but it was really cold and really windy on the way out there. It took 7 days to get out there to Arizona. I went to get my instructor training under NOAA. And so I didn't get to fly on the way out there, but I did get Arizona, and that makes it up to like 6 or 7 I think 6.
When you say Noah, you wouldn't happen to mean Noah Rasheta.
Rasheta.
Rasheta, president of the USPPA.
Yes, sir.
I'm
He's
not sure if you know this. I'm not sure if you know this, but the president of the USPPA follows me on TikTok.
oh, it's a big deal.
He's a
Famous.
really big fan.
Famous.
So, which, since we're on the subject, if you guys aren't following JP Tulo on TikTok, on Instagram, on YouTube, JPTULO, now's the time to do that.
Man, oh man.
I think everybody follows you. We just want to see
No shame.
another. We just want to
No
see another
shame.
cat pop ya.
Throwing in the wire.
Hey, that video just eclipsed. It's been on 1.9 for like 6 months. It just eclipsed to 2 million views. So
See, did you see?
Congratulations.
I put 2 million on your wall, so I knew that was going to happen. I
that
told
was
That's
my
pretty
boys here.
cool,
These are my
man.
boys.
I was really excited about my 90,000 until you said 2 million.
It's a
Yeah,
cat
but
video.
that's
It's not even
TikTok, not
paramotor, so
YouTube.
it doesn't even count.
You don't think?
Wait, 90,000 on what? On YouTube?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So it's not
That's
even the same thing.
Spectacular.
Like
If you got
1,000 videos,
90,000 on
1,000 views
YouTube,
on YouTube is like
It's coming up. It's
100,000 on
89,
TikTok.
like
It's
89.
completely
7 or
different
something.
currency.
yeah,
Okay,
TikToks
all right.
they just get views because
TikToks
people
are
are just,
nothing.
they're just
YouTube's the
swiping
real
through
deal.
these 30-second, 90-second clips and stuff. But if you got how many do you say, James?
On that one video, I got 90,000.
Almost 90,000. I mean that is incredible. 90,000 on YouTube. Yes,
Not worthy. We are
I
not
mean-
worthy. No,
You
YouTube
are-
is yeah.
you are the
My
man.
friend gave his ability to walk for that video, so I guess it's worth that. It's sad. That's what got me into the sport, was the subject in that video. My friend that got paralyzed. I would never have flown if he hadn't have gotten paralyzed flying, which is weird, but that's what that video is about. It's not about me and that part of it. It was about him and his paralyzation and all that. Anyways.
All right.
We are going to
All the links are down below. By the way, anybody that's watching this, all the links are down below. You can.
this is you, James.
Yeah, that's me. 283 subscribers. Look at me go.
We can do better than that, guys.
Yeah.
Come on. If you're
So
in
we
the
got two-
chat and you
we got-
don't follow
That
James,
one I'm super proud of. It was just a stupid little run, and I got 919 views. I was really proud of that.
That is awesome, bud.
For me, that's a big deal. I know that's stupid, but like
oh, I went to go
There's
there's a
subscribe.
couple of like
but
1,400 views. I did not know 1,400 people. That's just all I know. But that horrible paragliding accident, I mean, it's clickbait, but it's a good video, I think.
So what I'm doing is I'm putting your channel in the super chat. So this is James's YouTube. If you go there, we got 29 viewers right now. If you've got 29 people that are watching this, if you can just click his link, go there and hit subscribe, he
That's what I'm
will
talking about.
he will make sure that he continues to wash his hands in Charlie soap. Hey, real quick on that Charlie soap. I got some of that. I forgot what it was. Oh shoot, what was it? It's the one that you recommended to soak your carburetor in when you're cleaning it.
Yeah.
And I did that, and it was amazing. It was the cleanest carburetor. It was better than anything else I've ever used. So,
And it's water-based. Isn't that weird?
yeah. So which one did you recommend to get to actually, scrub your carburetor or let it soak in the carburetor?
Ah,
Do you remember
Brooke,
which
my
one that
man.
was?
There he is. Happy. The indoor-outdoor cleaner is the one.
Indoor outdoor. Yeah. That's it. Indoor
That's
outdoor.
what you need. And we're coming out with a new one. It's going to be called 1001. And it is a revision or revisiting of my dad's 1975 formula that used to like strip paint and stuff. It's a little bit cleaner than that, but more biodegradable and stuff, but it'll clean like crazy.
That's
Anyway.
awesome. Hey, real quick,
Plugging, always plugging.
there you go. In the super chat, just for fun, have you guys ever heard of James Sutherland before this show? And if you did you know that he was Charlie Soap? Or did you know Charlie Soap and didn't know it was James Sutherland? Let us know in comments in the super chat when you get the chance. I'd like to know that.
You got one other question there. In the
That's
chat.
always cool. That's always cool to be recognized for Charlie Soap.
And George, hey, you might not have seen this, but George Abdulnoor, you said his name, but did you know he was from Australia?
Yeah, I saw that he said he was from Melbourne.
Yeah. So making the big time, Sean. Spreading
There we go.
the wings.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what that means? We know that there's going to be a tomorrow. You know,
Yep.
when Walter or people from Australia jump on, we know that tomorrow's coming. So I'm a very happy camper.
Yeah. So welcome, George. Tell your friends. Nick said that he says, he's talking about the beautiful places flown, I guess. He said, what about Franktown, Virginia? Is that chopped liver?
Where is Franktown, Virginia?
That would have been the fly-in. Was that Easy Pace?
No, that's Ridgeway, Virginia. Franktown is that at the beach? No, that's not at the beach. It's a smaller.
By Virginia Beach last year.
Is it at Virginia Beach?
Well, I don't know. Nick, tell us in the chat.
Chopped liver. I haven't been free to go to a lot of paramotor fly-ins until I think this year. I'm going to try to hit as many as I can.
So Bad Apples.
Yeah, my schedule's kind of opened up a little bit, and so Bad Apples is definitely happening. I hit that. I hit a couple, yearly, and that's one of them. But I'm going to try to hit as many as I can this year.
That's awesome. Well, for sure, I'll be at Bad Apples. I don't care if I have to turn the world upside down and be in Australia. I will be at Bad Apples. I see Brooke join us. Welcome, Brooke. We also not only are we streaming live to YouTube, our audio is going to be uploaded to our podcast, our audio podcast, which is all over. And we also live stream the audio. And we actually got someone, the Wrap It Up podcast, shared our podcast and is listening to us right now live. Welcome to the show. If you need anything, just let us know, and we will ask questions to the guest or just ask questions. Thank you for joining us. So,
Thanks, buddy.
So we got lots of people that are listening to us now, and of course later on after the fact, they'll be listening to us Memorex, I suppose. All over the place. Matter of fact, we even stream on Amazon Music. Go figure. I didn't even know that you could do that. Angela, welcome. I see you there. How you doing? Good to see you. So anyway, was there any other questions from the panel members or in the chat?
I don't see any in the chat, but I had a question for him, and because you mentioned it. So what's on your agenda for fly-ins this year? Have you planned it out?
I haven't. I've got some stuff going on here in town. I'm hoping to fly as much as I did last year. But as far as fly-ins, Bad Apples, and after Bad Apples, I don't have any plans necessarily, but I'm going to let pretty much anything happen that can happen.
Did you say you wanted to do Dave Purdon's again?
I definitely want to do Dave Purdon's again. See, the last 2 years, what was it? 3 years. They've always been emotional. One year on my way home, one of my old friends died, and I heard about it. And then the next year, it was my father. I heard that he was coming. He came down with pulmonary fibrosis, and that he was going to pass away. And that was his birthday. It was on his birthday. And so the next year, he said, you're going to be upset if you miss that fly-in. So I went up there, and I went for a day or two, And I had to cut it short just so I could make it to his last birthday. He passed away this past year.
Sorry to hear
But,
about that.
but anyway, yeah. Well, I mean, he was a pilot, and he always wanted me to be a pilot. And when I got to show him that I was a decent pilot, he was really proud. And so, I mean, it was fulfilling, you know. Anyway, I'm gonna try to stay upbeat about that.
I understand. Let's talk about the copper mine. You said that on the pre-show that you loved this copper mine because you're able to fly, and all of a sudden it opened up and it was amazing. Tell us about that experience.
It was just, you know, well, as you fly more and more and more, you get to the point where everything's kind of humdrum and there's not a lot of fear left. And you're flying, and bumps don't even bother you that bad. And you're always, I don't know, kind of level-headed about everything. But when I went over that copper mine, you're flying along, and it's, I guess, because it's so flat for so long, when you finally get there and you're flying along and it drops away from you, it just my stomach, oof, it was scary. It was like the first time that it's been scary in a while. And I was talking to Matt Minyard before I went there, and I was telling him that I was going to do a barrel roll inside it. And I was so excited I was going to do this thing on a trike. And he was like, man, I want to be there. And he wasn't there. But as soon as I went over, I was at least going to do a wing over down into it. And the weirdest feeling came over me. And I said, you know, I'll probably have an engine out, my stupid luck, this year. And so I'm not going to do it. And then sure enough, 2 flights later, I had an engine out. My engine just melted down. It's a Bellini 250. And I'm sure you all have heard about the pistons seizing up and melting down in the 250s. Anyways, that's it. That's my story.
I actually, you know, I got a SkyTap Angel paramotor with a Moster 185.
Okay.
It's a foot launch, but I also have the opportunity of bolting it on to something similar like the Retractor trike, but it's made, I think it's made more for that particular model of foot launch. So I was wondering, when you fly your trike, is it like, I mean, tell us more about your trike. I mean, the trike that I fly is just a bolt-on trike to my foot launch machine. Tell me a little bit about your trike that you have right now, actually.
Yeah, I always fly the tiny trikes. So I haven't flown the Retractor trike, but my power to fly trike with the 185 is a foot launch unit that is bolted onto a Calibri, and my PAP is it's going to have a Thor 303 on it now, but it's still a foot launch unit that's sitting on their rolling trike. And so that's my tandem unit. But it can be a tandem or a single. And I wore that thing out on a single last year with, you know, it doesn't have the extra seat and the handlebars and all of that weight when you're just flying a single. So you get the 250 with all the thrust, but no weight. And I flew an 18-meter snake on a trike, and it was phenomenal. It was like flying a I don't know, like a fighter jet. It was awesome.
So that's interesting. So you don't actually have a trike devoted just to trike. You got a foot launch with the trike bolt-on type of things.
Yeah, swing arms.
That's interesting.
Well, I think that it's necessary. Brooke will argue with me because he flies is it EOS? What is it called? Is it
yeah, Brooke? You're on mute, Brooke. There you go.
The Eco 2.
Eco 2. Yeah. It's
So
a big old unit.
So Brooke, you teach trike and stuff, and you have different types of trikes available. Just for people out there that don't know the different types of trikes, like I said, I got a foot launch that has a bolt-on trike, kind of like the Retractor trike. What other type of trikes are out there, Brooke?
Well, there's so many different types. At this point, there's bolt-on trikes. There's bolt-on trikes that retract. There are dedicated solo trikes, dedicated tandem trikes, trikes that take spreader bars, trikes that aren't trikes, they're quads. I mean, they've got a million different kind. I guess the big difference you see is either the high hang points with the big bars, or you see swing arms. At this point, there's so much stuff out there. It's hard to quantify it all. But I like the big roll cages and I like the big fixed hang points. James likes the more minimalist swing arms, and it's just personal preference. When we're hanging out personally, we're always arguing back and forth. Oh, I like this or I like that better. But it's all about what you're most comfortable with, safe, and what works for you.
Absolutely. So
I don't think that Brooke has any less fun on what he flies than I do on what I fly. I mean, there's, we all have a ball. I mean, I know that's for a fact.
Absolutely. So if you guys are flying foot launch and you don't want to get a trike that's a solely dedicated trike, you can always get yourself a bolt-on, and like the Retractor trike. Brooke, do you sell the Retractor trikes? Are there certain brands that you sell as far as the bolt-on ones?
Yeah, I mean, depending on what motor you are purchasing at your training, or if you have an existing motor, for the existing Nitros and Mavericks, the Retractor clamps on. I think it might also do the SkyMax. And then we've got the Calibri for all the power to fly stuff. For the Parajet, they just released their clamp on trike that goes on the Maverick. And then Fly Products has the Foxy trike. So it seems that most all the modern manufacturers have their kind of foot launch clamp on conversion that you can get. And yeah, we sell them all. Ultimately, we want you to get what you want, but I personally like a lot of protection on a trike. I like a big wide wheelbase. I like roll bars, like I said. And that's what steers me towards purchasing certain units or recommending them.
The Calibri is a little heavy to be a bolt-on trike, but it is bulletproof. You can straight fall out of the sky onto that Calibri and it won't bend, it won't go anywhere. I know it's a little bit more of an expensive bolt-on trike, but it's heavy, which will kind of bump up your need for bigger wings and stuff like that. But it is a bulletproof wing. I mean, bulletproof trike, no doubt.
Every time you said bulletproof, I'm thinking about Bulletproof Coffee. Hey, if you guys are in the chat and you've just foot launched, and have you ever thought about getting a bolt-on type of trike for your foot launch? If you do foot launch and you do have a bolt-on trike, let us know also in the super chat if that's what you do. Very interesting to learn more about this.
I need to learn foot launching.
Wait.
What?
Are you anti foot launch, James?
Me? No, I'm not I'm not anti foot launch. I have a bad knee, and I know that I think my wing handling skills are good enough to foot launch. But
well, you did the SIV and you said that you landed perfectly when you're.
There was a lot of fear there. There was a whole lot of fear there left. I didn't think there would be. I had something like 600 flights going into that SIV class. And like, I shouldn't have had that much fear, but I had a whole lot of fear. Everybody that was there will tell you that like they got 2 runs before I even got my first one. And I was really slow to get at bat. I tiptoe into everything I do. And it's taken me a long time to get to what I do.
We've got Yankee Paramotor in the chat. He says it's not a bolt-on trike, it's a strap-on trike. Is there a difference? Does that mean?
Shut up, JP.
That's what he said.
He didn't say that.
They're not. I guess they're pin-on trikes, aren't they?
Pin-on. So.
Pin-on.
Because it's not actual. It's like a clevis pin or a
Yeah.
Something similar to what would hold on your hitch receiver on the back of your pickup truck. It's like,
Well, I know the PAP rolling trike uses 2 little pins that hold it in. And anyways, I hope that's what he's talking about.
Hey, who knows?
That's what he's talking about.
Who knows? Maybe there's something out there that we don't know that's actually a strap-on paramotor trike that we've never seen before. So I don't know. Maybe there is. I know mine.
He was working on one, isn't he?
He is an open source.
A strap-on that will strap on any.
The strap-on of all strap-ons is what.
This could get some traction.
This could get some traction.
I really think that he
in the ribbed
be able to put that together.
sense. Yankee Paramotor. Come on in. Let's talk about strap-ons.
Heck yeah, come on in. Come on down.
Who knows?
40, yeah, like we just hit the most viewers right after that.
Yeah, I mean,
hey, people want to talk about strap-on paramotors.
Yeah, we just got a new person that's jumped on. Martin has joined our audio live stream, so welcome,
Martin. What's up, Martin?
And
Martin in the house. Yeah.
Martin's like, I thought this was paramotors. What are we talking about strap-ons for?
Strap-on.
I do love to talk paramotors, though.
No, if you think about it, though, every time you strap a paramotor onto your back, though, like the feeling of freedom that you get, it's just like unbelievable.
See, I don't ever have to put it on my back like y'all do, and I love it. I love not having to put it on my back.
Okay, so how do you get yourself clipped into your particular trike?
I sit down on the paramotor, put my hands through the shoulder straps, click in both legs like you guys do, except I'm sitting down, do my waist strap, do my chest strap, and I'm ready to go. Except I don't have to put stuff on my back. And I know actually Brooke showed me the first time that I've ever wanted to fly and not been able to fly, and he was able to fly. And it was like the first time as a trike guy that I've ever been in that situation. And Brooke, you know what I'm talking about. It was really high winds that day. And like, I don't even know if you had any business being out there. I know I didn't have any business doing it. And anybody flying that day, Judson didn't have any business doing it. It was really dangerous, but still, I think I could have done it if I knew anything about foot launch and had that, that skill set. But I'm scared of it. I'm scared of foot launching. But up until that point, I could do pretty much a forward launch in anything that most people will fly in. Except that day showed me that I need to do foot launch, and I need to be able to do that. If
you
I
ever do
take
a reverse,
take part of everything, take part in everything. So
have you done a reverse on the trike?
I haven't done a reverse on the trike. I've done a reverse deflation on a trike. If that counts.
What do you mean by that?
I've come in some pretty high winds and not really known how to deflate the wing. And so what I do is I'll come in upwind and then turn the trike really quickly around in 180 degree, and then
just kind of like
bring the wing down in front of me.
Whip it good.
Okay, that's basically the same thing. Yeah.
Right, and so I can do the deflation, but I've never done an inflation.
Reverse basically.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I mean, I think I could do it. I've just never had
the thing is having the right conditions to do it.
The biggest condition that I haven't had is not having an audience.
Yeah.
Every chance that I've had to do it, I'm like, man, I'm not going to do this in front of everybody. Not my first time.
Yeah.
So.
When you go fly, especially since you're in a trike, I assume that it's mostly nil wind or very low wind when you're taking off. Is that correct?
No, I would say that on average, or no, most of the time, I will fly every time that it's nil wind for sure. pretty much every time. I don't care how cold it is or whatever. But I will go higher winds nowadays. I mean, I'm up to the point where 10 mile an hour, I'll still go flying.
All right, you got to tell me how you do 10 miles an hour not doing a reverse.
Brooke, you've seen it, hadn't you? It's awesome to have him.
You just got to be ready to roll backwards.
You do.
How far do you roll backwards? Because when I'm okay, I got the
You're not going to roll any. Well, you shouldn't roll any further backwards than the wing was. Done right, done correctly. Yeah, he just showed it, and so you're or like that.
So you're not worried about tipping backwards and kind of like turtling or anything, or I guess.
Well, what you do is what I do is I put the trims out to just a little fast. Mm-hmm. I would say fast enough to where I can still use the brakes, but it's trimmed out as I mean, especially for high winds,
right?
Before we launch, at the edge of what I can do, I would put it up to like say, the faster. And the minute that I hit it, the wing will come up. And as soon as like I can see that it's got any momentum going forward, I'm deep in the brakes and hard on the gas and like making sure that thing stops ahead of, on top of me.
Okay.
Anyways, I don't know if that answers that question.
Yeah, I mean it's interesting because I got the trike thing just for early morning nil wind. So I got nil wind. I'll take the trike out, bolt it on, and do a early morning, nil wind. I can, go forever, on the ground. I don't have to run forever, which is great. And then later on, when it picks up, where I go do some midday flying, I'll just unbolt it and, go out and fly. But I don't think I've ever done any high winds
and triking. Yeah,
it's
a. I don't know. I do it out of necessity. I don't think that I want to unbolt my power to fly from the Calibri all the time. That's never, I mean, when I first got into making a trailer for my trike and I didn't have to take anything apart, and just like a foot launch guy, I could like show up to the field, pull it off the trailer and go fly. Like it was just like boom, 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 boom. After that happened, I never wanted to take it apart again and do more foot launching, because I was quick enough, getting in the air, that I didn't need to do that. And then it got to the point where everybody said, "You never foot launch," and so now it's gotten to be a thing.
Well, you're anti-foot launch is what I heard.
Right,
you say.
like it's as if I'm anti-foot launch, but I'm really not. Last time I hung out with Brooke, I was talking about doing. I mean, last time I was at Aviator, I talked about doing my first foot launches down there. It never came to fruition.
This is 2022, man. James, I can't believe you are anti-foot launch.
Right?
James,
you can't say things like that. You can't say things like that. That's
not
sacrilege.
But I have taken off in some places that a foot launch guys would struggle. And
it's all about technique. Tell me this though.
It is.
Tell me about the artwork that adorns the inside of your van. Yankee Paramotor says that it's a psychedelic collage or mosaic of tapestries. What's that all about?
He's trying to change the subject, JP. That was his attempt.
I'm a boring guy, and I just need my walls filled up with a bunch of crap you can see. I constantly keep art everywhere.
This looks like a 16th century
it's something from my grandparents.
Hunchback of Notre Dame sort of.
I've looked it up 1,000 times. It's like the death of Socrates or something like that.
Wow.
A couple of other things in the chat, if you want to catch up. It's Franktown. Nick says it was Virginia. It was the Outer Banks, Virginia.
Yeah. I really want to hit that one sometime, but it was like the same year or same time as Pace. Hello, lady.
And Hot Buttered Productions was asking if that's Occhen mine you were talking about.
Yes. Auction. What a cool name.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. And one more.
That's a great place out there.
Eric PP. No, wait. Well, there's two more. Eric PPG Lear wants to know, how does the public get one of these cool Charlie Soap shirts?
If heads will roll, if they're not available on charliesoap.com right now.
Right.
So you just let me know. We can look it up and see if charliesoap.com has them. But I've asked that they be
And you
available.
ought to see it.
Yeah,
One
so
more time, Will.
I washed
Well-
mine in Charlie Soap.
You watched it, and you ought to see it.
You ought to see it.
www.charliesoap.com.
You ought to see it.
Oh, okay. I don't want to share, but yeah, on charliesoap.com, they've got the Charlie Soap shirts for sale for $17.
Right on. Well worth it.
Merchandising.
Yeah. That's what it's about.
Looking in the chat, Bill H says, yes, he has a homemade trike. I bolted on most paramotors. I foot launch mostly. PPG, the other Nick says, oh, I think he was talking to somebody else. I finally got a one wheel. Oh, okay. Well, good. I'm glad that you got a one wheel. The Parajet trike is sweet, but does not do tandem, says Nick Griffith. Moto Fly Guy.
I love my tandem trike.
I want to get a tandem trike. I need to get my tandem.
I love my setup that isn't a tandem all the time. It's just a tandem when I want it to be a tandem. I love that setup. I know it seems like a lot of work to do when you want to do tandems, but I just love it.
Oh, wow. That's on Amazon too.
This is crazy. It looks like a real thing. Like,
It is a real thing.
well, no, you know what I mean. Like,
No,
it's
that's
like,
awesome. Thank you.
it looks like professional and stuff. Like,
It's
is,
very
man.
professional.
where's the paramotor? Grass stains. Like, this is what it's for.
The paramotor, like
Merchandising.
my life hasn't been and really they don't want to spotlight me, I guess. They're spotlighting the products.
I guess.
That's what I'm gonna say.
We care about you. Like, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram,
There you
YouTube. Look at
Scroll
all that.
down. I mean, if you want to go through this, I'll show you some cool stuff.
Yeah, show us.
Well, go back up there,
see.
like right up at the top of the page, I think. That might, I don't know where you can buy it.
You can become a retailer, like
Yeah.
a dealer of Charlie
Yeah.
soaps. Like, hey man,
Scroll
you want
down.
some?
All
You
right,
need some
scroll
Charlie
down.
soap? I got you. How many grams do you need? Like, I got you.
It is funny.
blog about Charlie soap, our philosophy, our commitment. Man,
It's a real
See?
thing.
yeah,
It's my whole
that's
life.
awesome. Look at
Oh,
this.
Brian Waller said,
Family
buy it from
business.
Amazon. Go to smile.amazon.com and
Yes.
donate to Resurgence.
Yeah.
Yes, Brian, you can give to
Please.
Charlie soap and you can give to Resurgence, all by buying from Amazon.
I don't know.
Great
I don't
point,
know if
Brian.
y'all how much Resurgence means to y'all, but it's a huge thing for me.
Every chance I get, I tell people, go to smile.amazon.com and you can register Resurgence as your charity, and
Yep.
they will give you a percentage of everything you buy goes to Resurgence. It's just
I'm
like,
pretty
it costs you
like, I'm-
nothing.
I'm pretty sure that I was at the end of my rope when I decided to do the scariest thing in my whole life and get into paramotors. And it changed my whole world and changed my outlook on everything. And if Resurgence is able to do that with guys with PTSD and the people, with lost limbs and stuff, and I mean, I know that it's worth it, and I know that it works, and I know that it changes people's heads and it changes people's like whole mindset and everything, changes their world. So I don't know if you're into PPG or whatever it is, Resurgence PPG, but look into them. They're the bomb.
Absolutely. Can we get Todd in here?
Yeah, they do a lot of cool stuff.
Speaking of which,
it's a privilege to be around those guys. You know, I don't know if y'all hang out with them, but
Resurgence PPG Todd is asking James about the weather during the VFW event with Darren.
it was a little nasty, wasn't it? But we got to fly midday. We flew. That was awesome, actually. It was, I don't know, it was on until late. Weren't we flying until noon or something stupid? Tell me in the chat.
This is where
my memory's not the best it should be. Oh, you know.
Oops. Go back.
All right, scroll down to the product. Scroll down, like on that page.
Accessories is where you get.
There it is.
Oh man, not just shirts. Look at that. You can even get a koozie.
Hand sanitizers.
JP, that bag is you, man, right there.
For the
yeah,
people that are listening to
I
us,
like it.
JP, for the people that are listening to us, what is the .com that we're looking at right now?
www.charliessoap.com. charliesoap.com.
Charlie's Soap. Yep.
Not Charlie's Soap. It's spelled
Well,
with
either one.
only
I think either
S.
one gets directed. So
Does it both go? Okay, perfect.
there was a moment there where somebody wanted to sell us the 2 S's.
Yeah,
Charlie's
they
Soap with
they
2
will
S's
grab you by
for-
the cojones and charge you for that. Don't
Yeah.
put an apostrophe in. I noticed that messes it up.
Yeah, that's weird.
That was a fun time when he said he wanted $100,000 for that website. And I said, this is the deal. I was like, how much did you pay for it? And he goes, $150. And I was like, okay, so I'll give you $50.
My man.
And you can hand it over. Thank you.
That's
And he
what's
goes, no, I'm gonna need a substantially amount, a substantial amount more. And I was like, all right, sweet, I'll give you $25.
It's going down.
And he goes, he's like, this is insulting. I was like, how's this? Use it, I'll sue you. Sell it, I'll sue you.
Good
Right?
idea.
It has my brand name on it.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'll give you $10. The next thing you know, like we both had lawyer fees and all that, and he was out way more than me. Anyways, it's a stupid little story, but don't try to take from people. It's horrible.
Sure. That's for no reason at all. Like, did he have any claim to it? Like, did
None.
it
He
mean
just bought
anything
it.
to him?
He was just opportunist.
Yeah, opportunist. Absolutely. What a
Anyways,
jerk. What a jerk.
I'm not going to say anything bad about it.
JP, we need the thumbnail.
Okay. I can do
I'm
that.
I'm the PR. I got to remind you about stuff like this.
PR, public relations, Linda, in the chat here. Hang on.
Right. Wait, get Angela. Get Angela over here.
Angela.
We don't want
Get
to look
back
at her
here.
ceiling.
Angela, jump in so you can be in our little chat. All right.
Okay, we'll take him.
That's not
my door real
Angela.
quick.
Holy, what? Angela, you got bald and
All right.
gray.
Yeah, you
I
I am
went
not
home.
Angela, but I want to know
Obviously not.
how do you get a Charlie Soap shirt?
Oh my God, they just.
We
There it is.
covered that.
That's the way you do it.
So how do we get a Charlie Soap shirt?
Oh my
You
God,
go-
where have you been?
They're right there online.
Okay, I was talking on the phone.
Where did
Sorry.
Jade go?
Aye,
Now we
aye.
can't get a thumbnail. Jade's gone.
I
Oh my
purposely,
God.
I purposely.
Now Brooke is
Oh, now
gone.
Brooke
Oh my
is
goodness.
But you send me your address. Send me
You
your
guys
address.
are
I'll do the
bad
best I
at
can.
Everyone to squeeze. Everyone squeeze in.
Oh, I get to be in a picture.
I'm finally
Yes, a
here.
thumbnail.
Good Lord.
Where's Eric?
I know.
You know, Eric
Come
can
on,
like
come on,
squeeze
everyone.
next to
Eric,
Jade.
Eric.
Everyone in.
There
Eric.
you go.
Eric, come on.
Oh.
There we go.
Oh, okay.
That it?
We don't need
Just
that in
kidding.
the thumbnail, Eric. All right.
Oh yeah,
All right, here we
Tony,
go.
yeah,
All
get
right.
in there, Tony.
Tony, get in
Oh,
there.
Everybody,
He is.
3, 2, 1. Wait, 1, 2.
That's it.
One, two.
Is it horrible?
Perfect. My God.
And now,
Good deal.
oh, I thought he was.
Oh, who's John else has a snake out?
Love it. I love it.
Y'all want to hear some tragic? I mean, this is my life for the past week.
What,
Get on
James?
us.
What?
This,
Talk
or
to
actually
us,
for the
James.
past 6 months. This
We're
is
here for you.
this is like a metaphor.
Okay.
I bought a windsock. Love the windsock. It's about it's a 20-foot windsock. Has a cool, color to it and all that. And I drove away, and this tree at my LZ took out my windsock because it attaches to my van. And so it just bit back,
Oh,
destroyed
no.
it. $50 windsock. So I went to Amazon, ordered a new windsock, went out to the field, used my other, the actual windsock part of it, or, I had the pole bent, and I lost the windsock in the tree. I couldn't get it down. And so I'm using my other windsock. And the very next time I went out to that same LZ, I drive away and the tree bends the damn thing over again.
Oh man.
I lost another one like right after it. And that's sort of like the way my PPG maintenance goes, I think.
Get you one of them metal wind socks. They're a little stronger, man.
There's no way anything could take that tree. I was
cut
going
down
like
that big
25
tree.
miles an hour. Anyways.
Just chop down that tree. Get rid of the tree. There you go. And then you always have your windsock. Oh,
Yeah.
Lord.
Eventually a bridge would have gotten it, or I don't know, pole or something.
Like,
We got to
Wire.
go fund me for James for a windsock.
Wow.
I do need a windsock though. I do need a Charlie Soap windsock.
Yeah.
That's what it
that's a
said
good
on
idea.
I'll eventually have something like that.
I'd buy one. I don't need one, but I would buy one just because.
That's what I'm talking about. Merchandising.
Yeah.
Merchandising.
I'm good. I can up the sales for you, James. Come on.
Anything you can do, I will appreciate it.
I was
I've
a
been
retailer for
selling.
years. I know how to do that.
I've been selling soap since I was 8 years old.
So you've just been squeaky clean all your life.
I wouldn't say that. I would definitely say that I was not squeaky clean.
Pirate in the chat said James sells the cleanest powder, but Just Alice says it wants to know how long does it take to put on and take off a retractor trike or one of those bolt-on trikes. So Just Alice says it takes me 5 to 10 minutes to change over when I'm solo. Bill H said mine takes about 5 minutes to take off the trike. I like my glasses, cute, huh? Cool. And let's see.
Good.
About 15 minutes. Fly baby fly. PPG says it takes about 2 minutes. Oh, it just moved out of the. I don't know. Something just happened. Oh, about 2 minutes to take apart and 10 minutes to put together. Anybody else? So you always
I just don't like lifting, and so like all of you guys that are foot launchers, you're so used to like lifting your unit and like getting it on like at all, and to put it onto the trike or to pull it off of the trike, you actually have to lift that paramotor up off the ground, and that's just not something I want to do. I can't really get into that. And I know that that's lazy as hell, but like, I'm just not going to do it. I'm going to roll it out of my van. I'm going to roll it back in the van. I don't like to lift a whole lot of stuff if I don't have to. And y'all are used to it. And so like a 5 minute putting it on a trike is not a big deal. You know, you can just lift it on there and all that.
Do you keep yours? Do you keep yours together? I mean, you don't unbolt it to put in your thing, right? You keep it together all the time.
Yeah, it just rolls. Just push it up in there.
Hey, gotta do what works for you. That's what I think.
Yeah,
You know,
I there's no hatred there. It's just I just don't do it. And I probably won't. I mean, I don't know. Maybe if I got an Atom 80 and like a really light cage or something. I don't know. Used to have a bad back and I fixed it, and I don't want to hurt it again.
I don't blame you.
Totally understand. It's 8:15. We've already been talking for an hour and 15 minutes. I forgot to ask you in the pre-show, how long do we have you for? I mean, how long? do we-
However long.
No,
I mean,
you don't want to say that on this show.
I guess until my wife tells me I have to get off of here. I don't want to keep her up. She's actually got some surgery this week. So
Oh no.
yeah.
Hey, can we get your input just on one thing real quick?
What's up?
Real quick. I just want to see what you think of this. It'll be quick.
Share it.
Not turning out to be quick, man.
That's
Yeah,
what she said.
Ba-dum-bum.
Did y'all see that?
Yes.
Oh,
We were talking about that all day long today.
Yeah,
is
my
this?
phone was like burning up today.
What happened?
Ugh.
So we have a couple of tandem pilots out flying around, and this guy is flying with this person, and there's another tandem pilot which is above him, and whew,
Oh God.
so if you are listening to this podcast, make sure you go
God,
over
look at him. He went head over heels. Sorry.
Head over heels.
make sure you go to ClearPropTV.com so you can watch this. And it's all over the place. What's the name of it? What is it called?
And that, like,
Tandem?
is there any? I'm sorry, but is there any excuse for that? Because a tandem pilot should be the top of the damn awareness scale. Is that? Am I wrong?
Well,
about
and-
that?
and-
continue it, JP, because now you got the other pilot view, the one that
No,
actually hit him right
that
after
was
that.
a screen share, Sean.
And I don't mean to call anybody out, but Brooke, am I wrong right there? Do you think I'm wrong with that?
Can I tell you a secret before
It's hard to
Tandem
Sean
see.
says anything? Is that the pilot that hit him was another tandem pilot with the
That's what I'm saying. I mean, that's why I'm saying this is no excuse.
no.
This is some
none.
European stuff, man.
Well, the one that hit
Okay, so
him-
I can like call them out. And they're never gonna see me.
No, I'm never gonna punch you in the face unless.
Hell yeah! I don't know if I could break my nose again and survive.
So what was the name of that clip, just in case somebody wants to see it?
Tandem paragliding crash / detail videos, photos.
Yeah, so two tandem pilots with a passenger were flying. One tandem pilot above was doing some big wing overs or some sort of acro and came down and clipped the other tandem pilot. And the other tandem pilot that got clipped had to throw a reserve. So we were talking about when should you throw a reserve? So that was one of the things that we talked about also. When to carry a reserve, even if you don't, even if you fly straight and you don't do any acro, should you have a reserve? Because something like this could happen. I mean, I saw one video where this guy was just flying, mind his own business, and a big bird got caught into his lines and he went down. So, okay, we got this going again. Can you maximize that?
I have to admit that I have not flown with a reserve on my tandems. And the only reason is most of my tandems have been first flights, and most of those first flights do not want to go high. And I feel like it wouldn't be worth.
Oh, here's something I didn't even notice.
Yeah, his wing
He
collapsed.
had a little bit of a frontal. He had a little
Yeah,
bit of
I
a
saw that.
frontal right there before anything else even happened.
Well, if you see what he's doing,
Look at that.
it also looks like he's doing some whip stalls. He's pulling down the brakes, he's stalling, letting it up. So he's doing some whip stalls like dolphins if he had a motor, but he was doing some whip stalls right before that happened.
Yeah.
So maybe he thought maybe that happened to him, but also too, at the very end of this video, you can also see that it snaps some lines.
Let's all talk crap about him because we
We're
know
not-
he's overseas.
Who's that upside down right there? Was that? Did you
Boom.
see it up there? Was that him upside down?
Yeah, that was
With a
the other
tandem?
tandem guy.
The other
That's
tandem
fine.
doing
They
it.
shouldn't be doing acro with another person.
Did you see him upside down? It was a
Yeah,
top left.
you're gonna see his point of view at the second half of this video.
Watch this. Watch him. Like you can see in the top left that dude going nuts.
See, he's doing whip. Looks like he's doing some whip stalls there, and then all of a sudden, this guy comes through and.
All right, watch. Oh, there he is. You see him?
Yeah.
Pause.
And he's about to do a barrel roll and come down even further. Watch this. I guarantee he did a barrel roll right there.
With the passenger.
With a
That's
pass-
what took the wing.
I mean, that's what it looks like to me. The
So
timing-
My thing is that right now, the pilot is reaching for his reserve.
Yeah, he's got a twist in the
He's
risers.
got a twist, but a full wing. He has a 100% full wing right now.
But look what happened. Go back to when he actually got hit. Watch his hand on that side that got hit. And remember, it got hit so hard that a line snapped. So watch his hand, his right hand, when that happens.
Yeah.
he's holding it apart.
So go back to right before the hit.
Oh, I can't keep going back. It messes up the thing. Okay, so
So
There
he
it is,
all
right there.
so right as it's hit, his hand is whipped back into his face almost. So it gets hit hard. See, it's hit hard. His hand goes back. He doesn't know what the hell had just happened. Now
Yeah,
he's
they're face
facing
down
forward
right
and
there.
upside down.
right now he is definitely facing down towards the ground. Scary.
Right. He's
Very
got a
scary.
passenger and
He
something.
lets go. Let's go. Going for the reserve. He's going for the reserve because he's facing the ground. But my thing is that he has 90% of his wing open and flying right now. And what
Yeah,
I
but
was
he's
always
low.
taught,
It looks like he's low.
in training was that if your wing is flying, let it fly. Fly the aircraft.
Right, but is that with the passenger? I mean, what's the rules for your tandem exemption?
If you throw reserve, you want to not do that at all costs because you are giving up the flying wing that is in the air right now. You could throw that reserve into your wing and have no wings at all. You could have no wings by throwing that.
I
And
don't
there's
know. It looked a little quick for him to do that. I'm not going to judge him though. I'm just
that's my thing. He throws it like right away. He and like I said in the chat is that it's easy to judge sitting
And
here
how-
on
how-
my arse.
Can you go back and tell how high they are?
It looks they're kind of low, probably less than 1,200 feet, maybe.
Yeah.
They're in the mountains.
Go forward
They
on
look,
it.
they look really low.
Go
Yeah.
forward and show the second, the glider above the tandem guy, and you can see how high he is and how low he is.
He's upside down right there.
Right there, he started to invert.
Gonna roll right there.
Does anyone notice how she is not letting go of that freaking GoPro?
No, dude, and
I wouldn't
she's
either.
smiling like she has no idea what's going on.
She's
Dude,
like,
she's a champ. She is a champ.
Yeah. I think he made the right call. I mean,
I hate to say it.
they're both alive, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I just think
Well, I
Man.
also do paramotor
But-
tandems, and paramotor tandems this is a different protocol. I'm
it
sure.
didn't get
It's-
real bad until he threw the reserve. That's what picked him up and put him over the passenger, which that's the thing that I have is that throwing the reserve introduces another level of, that's why we don't send, students up with reserves, because you're afraid that they're going to throw them just for a simple asymmetric collapse, a frontal collapse, anything, just a little bit of turbulence, and I think this was 100% recoverable. Just a simple line twist before all that happened. And
but he does.
like
But
I
he does
said-
have. But he does have a line that was snapped. It shows at the very bottom. There is a line that snapped.
there's like 31 other lines,
I think that's
so
one of the least focused on aspects of paramotoring is the reserves. I just don't think people focus on it as enough.
Okay, so this,
this is the other tandem passenger that hit him.
yeah. So this is them, and I don't know when he starts
These
doing
two
his
guys
rollovers.
dicking around.
All right, so here he goes. He's gonna look. He's like, they're down there. Watch this.
Yeah, watch this. Watch this.
All right,
Let's do some
so
wingy
now that we're-
dingies.
Yeah, let's just go like a good solid.
Look at him jerk that. Yeah.
Right here is when he gets like mean with it.
Yep. Right,
There's-
right there with that right one.
Yeah, and then he gets
And
like
both of them?
Superman, and this is it right here. He hits him.
He's
It's gotta have-
he said, whoops.
Oh,
And he's not even on their wingtip. He's full on more than 50%.
why would he have done that last little run? It looked like he was spiraling.
Yeah.
What's he doing spiraling? Who does spirals?
And you can kind of see how high they are now.
Brooke, do you do spirals? I'm messing with you. You know I'm messing with you.
Well, when you got a passenger, you're talking about a lot more G-force on your carabiners, on your lines. So I mean,
Props to these passengers, though. Neither one of them didn't even drop the selfie stick. Like,
no
points to
that was
them.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, in this particular thing that happened, we were talking about it all day. I don't know. I mean, if it was me, I probably would have looked to see what was going on and try to fix it. But it was just me up there. But with a passenger, what do you do? He's like, okay, I got a passenger. I need to save the passenger. I don't know how high he was either. What do you guys think in the super chat? Let us know in the super chat if you're watching this. What do you think? What would you have done if you were the tandem pilot and you had the choice of fixing it or throwing a reserve? James, you do tandem, right? So
I do.
what would you have done if all of a sudden half your wing collapsed and you're in that situation? You didn't know what
Not
happened.
been flying like that.
And you were just flying, normal with your passenger like that first guy was that got clipped. What would be your first instinct? I mean, I don't know. And then we can ask Brooke the same thing since he does.
Well, my first instinct, golly, I probably wouldn't even have been there, or I would have tried to not be there. I'm not a real big fan of like proximity flying, and I just haven't done a whole lot of it. And nobody's ever on comms, and so like I just try to stay the hell away from everybody. I'm not cussing too much, but yeah. But as far as I don't know, I don't know what I would have done. I guess I'm sure that I'm not trained enough to throw a reserve that quick. So I probably wouldn't have thrown my reserve that quick. But that's probably a higher level pilot that assessed what he was doing, quicker than I would have. That's my first instinct, only because I have this weird obsession, or like maybe like a weird hierarchy in my head that paragliding pilots are better than paramotor pilots. Just inherently. I'm not a paragliding pilot, but I've got respect for paragliding pilots. And so I think of a paragliding tandem guy as like being higher up on than my paramotor tandem guy, Anyway,
Especially a European tandem paramotor. Like if you're European, like that adds a couple of points, right?
Yeah, well, the tandem does like add a stretch to it, but I'm sure like if anything happened during a tandem, I would wig out, because it is usually such a calm and like for me, like I only have like really good tandem days. I only have tandem days on really good weather days. And so if anything happened, and I don't know, it would just be so wild, because nobody ever flies with me. I'm constantly flying by myself. And so if I had to deal with that, it would be a big shock to me. I don't know. That's hard to say. I don't want to judge the guy, because like I really don't know how
it's difficult.
Yeah, he was. If he was low, then I think he did the right thing.
Sure. Which it's hard to tell.
It seems like he would have like at least gotten underneath the wing before he threw the reserve. Maybe.
Because it's dangerous. You could throw the reserve right into the wing.
Yeah, like at least let it pendulum out for a second,
Yeah.
But you could also waste perfect
altitude,
and height, and
valuable altitude.
Yeah. So
Very difficult to say.
Tough. I mean, it's a tough call. I'm sure if I had the reserve with me, I would toss it.
Done.
In the chat, we see that Eric says tandem pilots' first priority is safety of their passengers.
Yeah.
Resurgence said low man has the right of way in most cases. Why would you not have a reserve? Just asking for it. That's just Alice. I guess he's talking about just having a reserve.
That's something that like I wrestle with. For my tandem, the way it has to set up, I don't like the way that a reserve would bring you down. And so it's like super scary. And
well, it also depends on what kind of reserve you have. You know, I got the biggest one. I got a Beamer that's steerable. You know, because I want to be able to not only steer my way to a safe landing, but also have the capability of doing a flare before I hit.
Do you have a tandem? Do you have a tandem?
No, I just got a Beamer 130 just for me and me, flying. But where I'm flying over here, there's a lot of trees, rivers, creeks. I mean, there's power lines, houses. So if something did happen and I had to throw a reserve, I want to be able to steer it. So who has a steerable reserve, and who would want a steerable reserve?
It's so funny. I mean, not funny. I mean, it's weird that I am a stickler for riding with a reserve solo, but I haven't taken a reserve up on tandems. And I think that it has more to do with the height that I go up to on tandems. And it's just an extra. I know that it sounds weird, but and I probably, after this airing, I'll probably start hooking up that tandem on tandem reserve. But I have it. I don't hook it up unless I haven't had a student or a passenger want to hook it up. They've all trusted me, and I guess their trust has given me a good feeling, and I haven't had any incidents, any problems.
That's good. It looks like Todd joined us. Welcome, Todd.
Hey,
Thank
Todd.
you for joining us, bud. Real quick, Brooke, what is your thought of having thrown a reserve in a situation like what we just saw?
Ultimately, each pilot should have like a safety loop going in their brain, answering the questions: where's my altitude? Where's my landing spot? How do I fix a situation? If that pilot had no idea what his altitude was, or he didn't know how low he was, or just didn't have a good gauge on it, the first thing he should do is throw the reserve, in my opinion. I mean, if you don't know where you are in space in relationship to your fall, you don't know if you have time to make any more decisions. So the first thing you need to do is get the reserve out. I carry a ballistic reserve on my tandem. That way,
what is a ballistic reserve? What is a ballistic reserve?
So my reserve is carried in a canister, where if I pull on a cord, the canister is pressurized, and it basically shoots the reserve out, kind of like a pressurized kind of rocket of sorts.
Like a t-shirt thrower.
I was just thinking that, a t-shirt cannon.
Like a cannon, yeah, kind of like a cannon. So for me, it's just, if I'm up there doing stuff solo or acro and I want to figure something out, I think I have time to work a situation out. That's up to me. But if I have a passenger, if I'm in that kind of situation, I'm probably going to pull the cord, probably going to blow my ballistic, and just deal with it from then on the way down. That's probably the situation.
What kind of reserve do you have? Do you have something that's steerable, or is it just around?
Oh, for my tandem?
Yeah.
No, it's not steerable. No, it's so large, and with the way my tandem is set up, it wouldn't be possible to use a steerable.
Gotcha. Just for curiosity, I know that you do instructing and you do trike transition and you teach foot launch and trike. Have you ever gone up and thrown a reserve just to feel what it feels like to come down on a reserve on a trike?
No, never have.
Okay. I mean, you know, I know that when we're doing SIVs, you know, we have the option of throwing a reserve just to feel what it feels like to come down on a reserve, and I've done that, which is very interesting. But I, have you seen videos of somebody coming down on a reserve on a tandem, or I mean, on just a trike in general? I don't
I
think I've ever
haven't.
seen
I
that.
haven't. Like that is funny. Like that. I'm super trike guy, and I don't think I've ever even seen a video of a trike coming down on a on a reserve. Maybe
Hmm.
somebody could find one. See what that looks like. I know that on my PAP unit, I like to hook my front mount on the regular carabiners, so that if I am coming down, at least I'm coming down the way I'm used to sitting. You know, I don't have to worry about a different angle. But it's just in my mind that that's what's going to happen.
And it just happens so quick. Hey, Todd, welcome.
What's happening, guys and ladies?
Like a villain.
Another beautiful day in paradise, right? I mean, we're talking about paramotors. It's a beautiful day.
It is. It's been windy though, so hopefully that'll calm down.
Haven't gone flying lately?
Oh, I haven't flown in a while. It's just been too windy for me.
Got one this morning.
Yeah, I don't do mornings.
Gotcha. Now you do fly a trike, right, Todd?
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, I prefer foot launch, but Resurgence has had a couple wheeled units that have been donated, and so I've gone through the progression and gotten my transition. So I do fly trikes every now and then, and you know, hopefully I'll go ahead and get my trike tandem exemption, and hopefully we'll be able to incorporate that into the Resurgence program.
That's really awesome. I know over at I think it was Bad Apples. I saw your trikes. They're pretty heavy duty. They had shocks and all sorts of stuff. Pretty intense.
Yeah, and we've been lucky because the two units we have right now, and I know that a lot of folks will, I mean, they have issues with heavy units and heavy trikes, and you know the
legalities.
Some of the reputations that might go along with some of those units, but we've got a Fresh Breeze unit with the Bullocks trike that was donated, and the gentleman that donated it, he got into the sport because he was having some health issues and just wanted to have one last hurrah, and ended up getting a heart transplant, and they told him he wouldn't be allowed to fly anymore. And so that unit was almost brand spanking new when we got it. And then we got a Green Eagle just donated to us, and that gentleman had gotten it. It was almost the same situation, but his situation was cancer related, and he passed away. And that unit has 3 hours on it or something. So we've gotten two almost brand new units, and they'll, once we get the alumni lined up, they'll be passed along to those alumni. So it'll be pretty awesome.
Absolutely. Hey, could you do us a favor, Ty? Could you tell us a little bit about Resurgence PPG, what you do, mission, and how we can go there and donate, please?
Yeah. So the big thing is we get disabled and adaptive veterans involved in the sport. And, going back to what James was talking about earlier, there's definitely a therapeutic benefit to the sport, and everybody that's been involved in it, regardless of what their background is, they admit that there is something about the sport that changes your life. And, we've definitely seen it. And so my perspective was, if we're able to change our lives, through this sport, let's go ahead and have it impact some veterans that might not be in the best place. And we've been extremely fortunate. The paramotor community has done an exceptional job in, helping us along. And we've got our 27th candidate that is going to be starting training soon, which is absolutely fantastic. And, JP is showing you where you guys can go to make donations, resurgencepppg.com, donate page. And we try to make it to fly-ins to make our presence known. We try to, we have our own little reunion trips that we have planned and things that we do just as an organization to kind of build the esprit de corps, if you will, and kind of continue that brotherhood of military service with our alumni. And it's amazing. It really is amazing to see guys change and transform and see them, basically come out of a shell and, kind of return to, almost a normal life, thanks to, being able to get out and have fun with, flying. And it's crazy.
Absolutely. I also know too, and I do this, I go to smile.amazon.com to be able to donate when I buy something through Amazon. Could you tell the viewers how to do such a thing?
Yeah. So if you go to smile.amazon.com and you can go into your user account profile, you can select Resurgence PPG as the charity that you would like to support. And with every qualifying purchase, we get a percentage of it, which an individual purchase, it's pennies. And, it doesn't seem like much, but the amazing thing about it is the amount of money we've gotten from Amazon to this point is almost enough to fully pay for a sponsorship for a candidate. And the great thing about it is it didn't cost anybody anything. That money comes from Amazon itself. And so that just shows the purchasing power of the paramotor community. And so if we were able to, multiply the number of individuals that are using the smile.amazon account, we would benefit tremendously from it.
It looks like JP is showing you go to smile.amazon.com and you can, anything that you buy. I mean, there's absolutely nothing so far that I have bought that did not allow a donation to
Right.
Resurgence PPG. So it seems like pretty much everything you could do. And if you're on Amazon.com and you got a bunch of stuff in your bag, you can go to smile.amazon.com and then buy it, and then that donation would go out as long as you set your thing to Resurgence PPG.
Sure, and there, like, you can set your phone up to do it automatically. Like me, I order most of my stuff from my phone on the go, and like me, it's like $30, like nothing. But that didn't come out of my pocket. That came out of Amazon's pocket of stuff that I was buying anyways. So if everyone did that and put down $30, like right to Resurgence, that would be amazing. Can you imagine? If anyone needs help with it, it's all it takes is a couple minutes. Please reach out, please, and we will help you set it up.
Yeah, Brian, he made a fantastic point. If you go ahead and set up Charlie Soap on subscription service through Amazon, because that's what my wife does. My wife has Charlie Soap on subscription, and so every month she gets a shipment of Charlie Soap, and that's a qualifying purchase. And so, Charlie Soap, they're selling a great product, and Amazon is making a donation to Resurgence on that behalf. So it's a win-win for everybody.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yep.
I'm setting up that right now as we speak.
There was like, I think it was about 8 years ago or 7, maybe longer than 8 years ago. There was 3 months where the #1 requested thing on Amazon was the subscription of Charlie Soap.
Wow.
Oh, man. That's awesome.
We were excited about it.
That's so cool, dude.
It has a climate pledge friendly on it too. So, people that want to help save the world use Charlie Soap.
Bunch of tree huggers. I'm definitely a tree hugger. I don't know why, but I don't know. I like to save the environment anywhere I can.
Well, I mean, we live on Earth, I mean, it's not like we can move over to Mars if we screw this up. I mean,
it always feels dirty when littering or, I don't know, just low rent.
Hey, Tom, Steve
Yeah.
Goodpaster wants How many applicants versus number of trains so far?
Yeah, I was getting ready. I just saw that. So the applicant piece, that's kind of our Achilles heel. Obviously, it costs money to provide these sponsorships, and right now we've got a wait list of 62 candidates, and that's tough for us. That's a significant amount of money, and so we just identified our 27th that we're going to be sponsoring, which doesn't sound like a lot, but when we break down what actually goes into a sponsorship, it's impressive.
Are there any? I don't mean to stop you, Todd.
No, go ahead.
Are there any other organizations like Resurgence PPG that do this, like flying for these guys, like PPG for these guys?
So Project Airtime.
Sorry.
Yeah, so Project Airtime is a very, very similar in what they do. They're more focused on the free flight side, and they have a much wider net, if you will. Chris Santa Croce, when he set up Project Airtime, their motto is anybody can fly. So if there's a terminal illness, or you have a significant disability, something like that, all you have to do is, and this is kind of where the difference in how we're organized kind of presents itself. If you get out to Point of the Mountain, or you get to one of the instructors that is part of Project Airtime, they'll go ahead and fly you. They'll take you up on a tandem. If
that's awesome.
So Chris does amazing work. And so one of the last candidates that we actually sponsored in conjunction with Project Airtime. So it was a joint sponsorship kind of situation, and Chris Santa Croce was the instructor, and it was a fantastic experience, and we worked together, and there's a lot of mutual respect and a lot of mutual support there, obviously, because we have the same mission. We want to change lives. We want to impact people's lives. So that's really the only other organization that does it. But an organization that is specific to PPG, no. Another organization that will sponsor training to get you all the way through training, there's nobody else that does it. And that's the big difference between us and Project Airtime, is they'll get you flying.
They'll get you in the air.
Yeah, most of the individuals that go through Project Airtime, they'll get a handful of flights. A couple of them might solo, but there's really not a lot of the retention of pilots in the sport afterwards. There's a benefit to it, because it's less resource intensive. They are able to sponsor, and they're able to impact a lot more people than we are. Yeah. So, you look at their numbers, and they're able to impact 200 people a year. We're able to impact, 10.
That was one of my first things when I got my tandem. I don't know if other people do this, but like we have a cancer, I don't know what you call it. Like they work with the hospice, but anyway, they raise a whole lot of money for cancer, this cancer organization here in town. And I just went to them and said, if they ever have any guys that, or women that want to go up as like a bucket list thing, I would love to donate my time for that. And that's, another thing with Resurgence. I didn't know y'all had Trikes, but like, I'd love to do that for guys, or for people. Because that first flight for me was like a game changer. I mean, it just, the whole thing changed everything. So
it is definitely amazing. Unfortunately, JP's got to run, but since we got Todd on here, JP is going to do another thumbnail for us since we got Todd on here. So you're on mute, JP, so we can't hear you when you say 1, 2, 3.
Uno, dos, tres. Oh, so Angela has her mouth open.
Angela, come
Angela,
on,
say
smile.
cheese. Come on, ready.
Hey, Angela.
1, 2. Ready?
Cheeseburgers.
Jeez,
Perfect.
Charlie's.
All right.
What you got to do is take a picture on 5.
On 5, yeah.
Best pictures.
What we don't have to do is take the picture on Paramotor, because then Sean's face is like
Motor.
Paramotor.
Paramotor.
That's why we say cheese, because it's like
I know, but I just like to say paramotor.
Yeah, we love
I like
paramotor.
my
Hey,
my thumbnails, Will.
I know. How about
I
paramotor
love
cheese?
my thumbnails on Monday night.
Absolutely.
I look forward to that. Yes, because I'm like, JP, we need thumbnails. There you go.
Well,
Very
JP,
good.
thanks again, buddy. Appreciate you. Sorry you got to go.
No problem, guys. Happy to be here. It's always a pleasure. I will catch you guys on the next show for sure.
Yep.
Big shout out to everyone. It's always a pleasure here. Todd, Charlie James.
Charlie James.
Charlie
James.
I love it.
You know who you are.
I
I lost my Zoom.
I'm working
I
on it.
can't see you guys. Oh, there you are. Okay. Eric, Angela, Linda,
Somebody's in the back.
Will, even
stalking her
Will,
there.
even Will, you know, he's like anti-Ohio from Ohio, like unbelievable. The birthplace of aviation, this guy, unbelievable.
Whatever.
North Carolina's first in flight, though.
What?
right.
You too, Todd?
North Carolina's first in flight.
Yeah, first in flight.
Where
yeah.
the first flight took place.
The first
Really?
in flight.
No, the
That's
birth.
all that matters
The
is like we
birthplace
have
of
a better place to
aviation
fly
was
than
right here
anybody
in the
else.
Buckeye State.
Ohio didn't have what it took, man.
Yeah, that's
South
the
Carolina
thing.
did.
They were found wanting.
Oh,
You're,
guys are killing me right in the
you're,
heart.
you're trying. Just move to North Carolina. It'll be all right. Just move.
Yeah,
The western part of the state, please.
we're just
Oh.
one.
Oh,
We love you,
Oh.
JP.
oh,
Yeah, we do.
oh, right in the.
But Dave Purdon's is beautiful. I mean that Ohio flying. is-
No doubt.
Yeah, Dave Purdon's. If you guys aren't signed up yet, be there. Dave Purdon's flying on the Ohio River in Portsmouth, Ohio. If you haven't been there, it's the flying to get to. It's amazing. You know, fog flights right over the school. It's just a fantastic place to be. So
And Tim
Please.
Hortons donuts are freaking awesome.
Who's?
Tim Hortons Donuts are there.
Tim Hortons.
Timmy
Yeah.
O's.
I don't know.
Yeah, I guess it's like a Dunkin' Donuts, but a Canadian version of it.
Yeah.
Yummy. Now they just need to bring ice cream out there, Will.
There you go. There you
I'm
go.
All right,
telling
you
you.
guys. I love you all.
We'll
Thanks so
never
much.
go
I'll see you
home.
on the next show.
All right.
JP.
Peace out.
Thank you.
See you, man.
Yeah, so Brian Waller was asking how much it typically costs to train a student, and the cost varies obviously because we sponsor through different schools and different instructors, but we normally budget $7,000, and that sounds like a crazy amount, but the way it's broken down is we usually budget $3,500 to cover the training tuition itself to pay for the class. We'll go ahead and the other 3,500 will be utilized for lodging during the course of the training. We'll pay for travel. Usually, you know, most of the guys elect to drive from their home to the training location, so we pay them mileage, and then we'll also pay a per diem to cover their meals and incidental costs while they're there. And so all those costs, you know, just for transparency reasons, I'm not a really smart guy. All of the costs can be determined by going on the government GSA website, and you can look at what does the government pay for travel, what does the government pay for lodging for a specific location, and what do they pay for a per diem rate in a specific geographic location. And I look at those numbers, I add it up, I multiply it by 10, 14 days, whatever the length of the training is, and boom, that's the number. That's how we figure out how much it's going to cost us. So
It's probably a
hopefully-
good close estimation.
yeah. And so, I mean, I know Brian's down in Southern Alabama, and I need to really keep it simple for him. But I hope that's a simple enough breakdown. And I also want to remind Brian that Georgia's still the national champions. So
That sucks.
whoa.
Oh man.
And apparently Kelby doesn't like my hat. I was having a bad hair day, Kelby, so I needed to put a hat on.
I've been having that bad hair year.
That's why you always see me with a hat on too. Always a bad hair day.
Yep.
No, I live in the beanie hat out here in the northern country, as I call it. So beanie hats are good. Some days you got those bad hair days, you got to throw the beanie on. That works for me.
For sure.
Beanie's the only thing that'll fit on my cranium.
Do we have any other questions for James on the panel or in the super chat that I missed?
I can't believe, Todd, that you haven't done tandems yet.
So and here's the crazy thing about it. And this is what, I've had a number of people talk to me about it because I've traveled around so much and I've sat in so many training classes and, I've shadowed and I've helped out with classes and stuff. People always ask me, why haven't I become an instructor and done that thing? And for me, it's pretty important from the resurgence perspective that I don't become an instructor. And the reason is I want to be able to share our stories and the stories of the veterans with the schools that we send the folks to.
Have you spent any time? I don't mean to interrupt, but have you spent any time with people learning how to be instructors?
Oh yeah.
Okay, that was a big deal for me.
Yeah, and so I've hung out. Plenty. I've been down to classes with One Up Adventures and have kind of shadowed and helped out with them, even when we haven't had candidates going through training. So it's been a lot of time, with Travis Burns, and he's kind of been my mentor in all of this.
He's a good dude.
But again, I think it's really important for resurgence not to get into the instructor game. I think, from a tandem introduction standpoint, I think we can definitely benefit and that'd be beneficial to the program, but that would be as far as it goes. Cause I think it's just way too important to share these sponsorships and these stories with the rest of the community.
For me, maybe it's because I'm a professional, and my brothers would laugh at me if they heard me say that, but if I have a company to run too, but I did the tandem and got my BFI, and just recently I went through the instructor training with Noah, but I don't know if I'll ever become an instructor. I think that I wanted to have the tandems so I could take people up, and I wanted to do that the correct way, and so I got the BFI, the basic flight instructor, to do that. But I think I just really want to know all there is to know, or that I can know about the sport. And so it's not that I want to become an instructor, but I just went through the instructor class just because it's more, it's just more, to learn about the sport. It's like the SIV. I don't think I'm ever going to really get into a whole lot of acro, but it's just, I feel like I had to do it. I had to experience that. Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah. Now, and it's funny because I've had this conversation a number of times with Travis and Kyle Mooney. They've kind of been pushing me towards that, but again, I think we'll see what happens. But I think it's really important to maintain that separation between resurgence and schools.
Until, knowing what I know about running a business, and I don't know how the nonprofit is, but I'm sure it's basically the same. Somebody's got to be there to do it. And so you can't have anything pull you away. Even paramotoring can't pull me away from my midday stuff. And Charlie, I'm sure my brothers would laugh if they heard me say that, but still, it's an important thing, and I can understand not wanting to become an instructor, because that too is an important thing for those people, and so you'd have to neglect one for the other just because of how important it is. And that's I talked to Leah, Catula about it. I don't know, we hit it off early, and she's really cool friend of mine.
She's awesome.
And she, I don't know if she was trying to talk me out of being an instructor, or saying that she doesn't think I was going to be a good instructor. But I think she's put more focus on emphasizing that being a mentor would be a good,
right,
half stepping, if not, I don't know. You talk about different stuff as a mentor than you do as an instructor. And there's different needs,
Yeah. And it's funny you bring that up, because there's a guy here in the Charlotte area that, his schedule and everything just doesn't allow him to get out and, do a full, boot camp, week-long style training. And he reached out on Facebook, and I was kind of like, hey, I can go ahead and like show you some things, I can, work with you a little bit. And one of our alumni lives near me. And so we're like, hey, we'll go ahead and team up on this guy and, help him out a little bit. And the first time we met, I was like, listen, we are not instructors. We are not here to teach you. We are mentors. We are here to answer questions. We're here to show you what we can and, share some of that knowledge. But, right off the bat, want to make sure that you understand that we're not providing any training for you. And you're not being trained by us. And
that's
we're not
that's a
instructing
big
you.
deal. And I think people need to know that distinction. And
yep.
I've been, I'm starting to be more present at training facilities and training situations, and like be a fly on the wall. And like you were saying, like get to watch that through. But I haven't seen it enough to be an instructor. Brooke was on here earlier. He's seen it way more than I have. And he's got like 5 years less of flying. But he's just seen that school mentality. And until or that school, that atmosphere work
right
so many times that he knows and I've seen him train. And some people say that, people with less hours or less time or years in the sport don't necessarily need to be a trainer, but there's some people that have focused on being present, during those training sessions and really have picked it up. And Brooke's one of them. I've seen him. He's a real deal. As an instructor, but I don't know if I am. I think that my main concern was I was in a situation one time where I was on the radio with a guy that was not forcing me, but he was going to take his first flight that day, and nobody was going to be on the radio with him.
Mm-hmm.
And I just felt like a responsibility because of it, my trike experience, to be there on the radio with him. And I was not helpful to him whatsoever. I was not capable of doing what needed to be done and saying what needed to be said at the right time. I was cool. I was calm. I was collected, and I knew like what I was saying was helpful a little bit, but I don't think that I was like really who I needed to be. And so I knew that after that day, I needed to eventually become an instructor just for the off chance that I was put in that situation again. So I wouldn't, just be sitting there with my proverbial thumb with my butt. So,
yeah. So apparently there was a question that Eric was asking.
Yeah, Will, you're on mute.
Right.
Will's on mute, so.
Yeah, rookie mistake. Hey, so Eric was asking, Eric PPG Lear wants to know where you hung your paramotor, dude.
In my truck.
On the rearview mirror?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. That's a great place for it too.
That's where it's supposed to go, right?
Starter. Yeah, I guess. I mean, that's where I put mine.
You got one of those things from what was it, Portugal or something? Was it Portugal?
Eric sent it to me. I have no idea where it came from.
Jade knows. Where?
Bulgaria.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, cool. Hand painted.
Yeah, Eric gave me the pick, and so I got one that was very similar to my Gin Falcon in color scheme. So
I've got a Charlie Soap one that I got first year of paramotor, and I saw those things online. I was like, man, I need one of those. That was when I need Charlie Soap everything in the sport, and so
we all need Charlie Soap everything in the sport.
That's what I'm talking about. Thank you, sir.
We're wearing the shirt.
Right.
Oh man.
It's 9:05. We've been chatting for more than 2 hours, which is awesome.
I haven't been here that long though, so we're good.
Anybody need to leave?
I actually do need to leave. I didn't expect this to have 2 hours. I'd stay on here forever actually. But I'm about to, and we haven't even really touched on any of the stories that.
No, we
I've got
didn't.
so many stories. I mean, we've all got so many stories, but
before you go, let's walk through this one real quick.
okay, it was real quick, and I had no idea where I was going to put it down.
So what happened? You had a motor out or something?
Yeah, and I remember if you pause it, yeah, I was just flying along, and there you can see my feet fly up when the motor went out. Let's see, right about, I'd say here.
Yep.
There it was. And then I thought about turning right, but the wind was going left to right. And so pause it like right about here. I talked to my instructor, and he said, he was like, I didn't teach you that. And I was like, what are you talking about? And he goes, right when you went into the corridor right there, and you'll see what I'm talking about. I got over to the right side as far as I possibly could, because I knew the wind was coming from the left, and right at the tree level, it's going to be going a little bit faster than like above it. And just because, and so I got to the right side, and as soon as it got down to the level where my wing was coming down to the level of the trees, it weather vaned sure enough into the wind. And it was like I ended up landing on the left-hand side of the road, even though I lined up for the right-hand side of the road. He was like, man, I didn't teach you that. I was like, man, this last minute, I was like, this is what's going to happen. And so like, I guessed right, you know.
And I'm looking at this too, and I'm thinking, man, even if I'm coming in foot launch, I got lines that go out to the tips of my wing. Am I going to get it caught? So that's what I'm looking at right now. It's like, were you worried about your lines getting caught in these trees?
Somehow no, it didn't bother me.
It doesn't even look like there's room for a wing through there.
No,
yeah, and I don't know if you can tell on the video, but I was like really trying to get to the right hand side of everything. And then right about here is when it like goes to the left. You see how it tries to go over there to the left. Anyways, it was really.
Yeah, watch this. Look at that. Did you see that, Sean?
What's
that?
I
just landed over the mailbox.
When he lands
over the mailbox. So I'm just gonna let this. I'm just gonna let this go full speed. And I'm telling you right now, if I was doing this on foot launch, I would have.
It was awesome. I was so pleased. It was just such a non-event, you know. I mean,
and watch the wing. Boom!
You see the velocity edge wing from the Black Hawk.
So, did you get a new LZ out of the deal?
No, but
they didn't invite you back.
Like we were talking about Kamikaze Landings. Like I've always wanted to go back there and land there. Just because I know I could do a way better job now than I did back then.
It looks like you almost took a mailbox out.
Yeah.
Was there anybody there? Did they come out and go, what happened?
Next door, somebody came out.
Oh yeah.
And they were laughing. They were like, man, that guy's on vacation. He's like, he would be super mad that you were in his yard. And I was like, well, he doesn't have to know.
Oh, God, you were lucky.
That is awesome. Well, James Sutherland, thank you so much for being on the show. You are a wealth of knowledge. We had so much fun, even though we didn't go through all the lists that we talked about before we went live. We talked for over 2 hours. So you know, we're gonna need a 5-hour podcast next time to talk with James, because he's just talked so much.
Well, if you I really appreciate being here, seriously, and anybody listening to any kind of paramotor stories that I've got. I know there's a bunch of some wild paramotor stories out there, and like everybody's got at least one. That's why we get in this sport. So if you ever want me back on, I'll try to come on and tell some stories.
Oh, heck
Absolutely.
yeah. I know where to
Absolutely.
find you. I know
Yeah.
where to find you.
And you're on our guest chat, so you'll know every
Yep.
time that we go out, and
Nice.
you know the ID and passcode. So just jump
Yeah.
on anytime. You can be part of the panel. Everybody here is part of the panel. You know,
Absolutely.
was a guest.
Yeah,
That's
it's
how
kind of
we
a cool,
roll. Yep.
platform. I like it.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate you so
Oh,
much. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, James, so much.
All right,
Appreciate you.
well,
Be safe
I'll
out
see
there.
y'all. Y'all have a good night and buy a bunch of Charlie soap.
Absolutely.
See you, James.
Thanks.
See y'all.
Good night, man.
All of his links are down below in the links or the description down below. So make sure you go over and check everything out. The only thing I don't have is charliesoap.com, but hey, it's charliesoap.com.
That's right.
So we're going to go ahead and kill this this podcast. We definitely appreciate you guys jumping on and hanging out with us for 2 hours and 11 minutes. I know that you have other things to do in your life, like go fly, but hey, you're here with us, so we appreciate it. On
Right.
Tuesday nights, we have another paramotor hangout. And Eric, if you want to talk to us about that real quick. He's trying to find a mute button. There you go.
New iPad.
Whoops.
So tomorrow's show, we have two new pilots from Las Vegas that we're going to be talking out on ppglear.com, which is the Tuesday night hangout show. So hopefully everybody will tune in and learn about them and go from there.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with us for a little bit. Flying Flamingo Jade, you got a Wednesday night show without.
Yes, Joe.
Yep.
Go ahead and tell us about that real quick.
Wednesday night, paramotorgirl.com. Girls Just Want to Fly. We have another skydiver on, Elizabeth Ann, and we're going to learn about her story of how she falls out of the sky.
Wow, that's awesome. Can't wait. That's paramotogirl.com. And then on Thursday, we got another famous person that talks about paramotoring and paragliding. And we got Linda Anderson, which is the mom of the famous person. Linda Anderson, tell us about that famous person.
Robert Michaels, of course, the one and only from San Diego. Yeah, we have a great show on Thursday night, paraglidingtalk.com. Y'all know where to be on Thursday night. Hang out with us. Always shenanigans and always great guests. And a lot of times you'll find Todd right there too. There you go. Yeah,
Awesome.
You just never know who's going to pop in the Zoom. So you guys all join us. Thank you so much, chatters and viewers and everything. I want to say much love. We appreciate you all every Monday night following our show, everything. We always have a blast. And I enjoy you all. So that's
Absolutely.
all.
And if you want to be on the show, just get up with Linda Anderson by going to paramomusa.com. It forwards over to our Facebook page to say, hey, I want to be on the show. And we also got Will Fly from Will Fly PPG. Tell us a little bit about your fun shenanigans and how to get up with you.
You can get up with me by going to youtube.com/Will Fly or willflyppg.com. Hopefully have a new video coming out this week.
I know. I want to get a glimpse of that. I want to know before it's put out there for the public. And you're not even going to share it with us?
Just the tip. That's all I'm going to say. Just the
tip. Awesome. Well, you guys make sure you go to willflyppg.com and hit subscribe and watch this new video that's coming out. It will blow your mind. We also got Todd from Resurgent PPG. Thank you very much for hanging out with us and talking to us a little bit about Resurgent PPG. Tell us how to get to Resurgence PPG and how we can donate to you.
Just resurgenceppg.com, and you can go ahead and select the donate link at the top of the page. Send us a whole bunch of money or equipment. We can use both.
That's awesome. Money or equipment. And if you have $7,000 laying around, you send that to him. He can get someone up in the air pretty darn quick. So once again, thank you guys very much. We appreciate you all. Have a wonderful evening, and we'll see you tomorrow on ppglear.com. Is that what we're going to, PPG Lear, or is it PPG Shane tomorrow? Is it Lear or Shane?
PPG Lear.
All right, so it's PPG Lear, LEAR.com. And we'll see you there. Y'all have a wonderful evening and fly safe.
Thanks so much, y'all. Have a good night.
Y'all have a good one.